As a human being, many of our decisions are derived from comparative thinking by comparing the options on offer and comparing ourselves to others, which leads to irrational behavior. This is particularly true when we find it hard to directly measure the value of something. We compare it to other things, like a competing product or other versions of the same product, in order to create a relative value for ourselves. For many of us, drawing such comparisons may not seem to be too problematic. However, we are easily fooled by the method in which we apply the concept of relativity, since we only compare the item with one or two similar items, rather than comparing everything to all other things, where we would consider our opportunity costs. For example, 20 Rand is relatively cheaper when compared to 50 Rand when deciding on how much to spend on an item, but we should actually be considering spending 20 Rand to nothing at all, or to all other things that we could buy with the same 20 Rand. Many companies have adopted this concept of relativity into their sales and marketing campaigns, such as discounting of items during sales, bundling of items together as a promotion, use of decoy products, and outlining superficial comparisons for customers. These campaigns follow the nudge theory, whereby businesses undertake small interventions to influence a person's irrational behavior and steer them towards making decisions favoring the items they wish to sell. Now let's unpack this in further detail. Discounting or bundling of items is a method whereby the promotional price and savings adds context for the customer by highlighting the value to be gained from making the purchase. For example, this approach is commonly used at FMCG outlets such as Macro, Edgar's, Checkers, etc., where prices are discounted to attract customers and increase sales. The decoy effect is an effective method used to boost sales of an item by introducing a product that you don't really intend to sell but has extreme pricing, either much higher or much lower than other virtually identical products. For example, adding an expensive version of a laptop to the product line to increase sales of the low range or mid range products. Superficial comparisons are a method whereby a company provides a clear comparison for the customer, influencing their decision to respond to an offer. For example, take the outsurance advertisements of people who saved on their insurance premium, illustrating massive savings without adding sufficient details about the actual policy or the person. The insurance industry is very competitive, since there is a vast majority of South Africans that do not have vehicle, household, or personal insurance policies in place to protect themselves or their families. Because this market is highly competitive and has a very high churn rate, it is important for insurance companies to creatively offer value to their customers while using their ability to compete on a balance between their premiums and value-added benefits to attract and retain customers. This is crucial when considering how consumers contextualize value when making the comparison between companies and the various options. The success of One for All will be determined by its ability to apply this behavioral economics concept for consumers to draw a favorable comparison and to join the insurance provider.
Behavioral economists generally says we think of ourselves as honorable, so when asked if we would cheat, we say we wouldn't. However, when we have an opportunity to do so, we take it because we want whatever benefit it is that we'll get by cheating. In designing our claims process, we have taken that behavioral economist insight into consideration. The aim is to have a swift and painless claims process that will earn One for All the kind of trust to build a strong brand and create and retain our customers. When filing a claim with us, right at the beginning, our customers sign what we call an honesty pledge, attesting to the truth of their claim, rather than doing so in the end, as you normally see in most claims forms. The idea behind this is that getting people read about honesty will encourage an honest behavior. So we remind our customers of their moral standards and principles right at the beginning, bringing their good intentions into surface and therefore decrease the likelihood of them cheating. As a result of this, all claims filed with us since the start of our business have been approved.
It was a hot summer day on a normal Tuesday afternoon, and Cadence had taken her lunch break a tad earlier and decided to surprise her husband, who was working from home, with a quick lunch before she trotted off back to work. She went to Woolies and got him that pasta chicken salad that he loved and smiled, thinking how excited he would be to get lunch and maybe a little something extra. She drove up to the driveway and got out of the car. She got to the front door and turned her key in the lock. And as she opened the door, she wasn't prepared for what met her eyes. Her husband was naked on the TV sofa with the neighbor's dog walker. Cadence dropped the pasta salad on the floor and ran out of the house while angry tears streamed down her face. She ran down the driveway and stopped short in front of his brand new Porsche with black paintwork and red leather interior. She knew how much he loved that car and how much he sacrificed to get to a point where he could afford a car like that. Never in a million years would she ever wish harm to her husband or his perfect little car. But today, as her mind flashed back to that naked scene in the lounge, she took out her car key and dug deep into the black metal and ran it across every inch of the paintwork. She then got into her car and drove off to her mother's house. At One for All Insurance, we help you plan for those little indiscretions. So, this is a prime example of the influence of arousal, which includes feelings of sexual arousal, anger, jealousy, even hunger. These are primal forces that are very much part of every single human being and is compared to the characteristics of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Essentially, the concept refers to the dynamic nature of humans in both their cold and their hot states. The cold state is when humans are methodical, moral, have integrity, and make decisions based on social norms and their own sense of what is right and wrong. The hot state is when a human is aroused by any strong emotion like sexual arousal, anger, jealousy, or hunger. In this, Dan Ariely has proven that humans are unable to predict their own behavior, even if they consider themselves to be good people. Their moral compass is skewed, and their decision-making abilities are altered to such a degree that not only do they underpredict their behavior, but they do so by a large margin. So how does one control these emotions? Well, it's important to be aware of ourselves, as well as exercise patience and non-actions in situations that may trigger our Mr. Hyde self. Some may say it takes constant self-work and self-awareness. I agree, but then I wouldn't sell any insurance policies now, would I?
Customers feel happy and satisfied as the process is easy and convenient. The problem of procrastination and self-control. Humans in general have a problem of procrastination and self-control. One of the reasons for this is that we desire immediate gratification. We go to the gym for one day and expect to look like Magic Mike or Jessica Alba. We don't eat cake for one day and we expect to lose 5 kilos. Delayed gratification is one of the reasons we find it so difficult to save for our future. We expect results today, not in 40 years' time. Humans procrastinate because we do what's easy, not what's difficult. Many of us know that when we have a difficult task to complete, we put off doing the task until it is absolutely necessary. Moods play a big role in procrastination as well. Negative moods such as anxiety, boredom, and frustration cause humans to delay doing a task. So how do we reduce procrastination? Improving the emotions involved in completing certain tasks has been shown to reduce procrastination. When humans feel happy or satisfied after completing a task, they are more likely to complete it. In the insurance industry, many companies offer various incentives to get customers to switch, such as cashback bonuses, discounts on fuel, free car hire, and more. The process of switching, however, is grueling. Sitting on the phone for half an hour while a consultant reads you a 15-page disclaimer makes consumers cringe. While switching may allow consumers to save money, the process is difficult and may cause consumers to procrastinate switching. All for One Insurance takes the hassle out of switching. The app-based insurance allows one to enter all the information they would be asked over the phone into the app and receive confirmation of cover within 10 minutes. No need to listen to 15-page disclaimers, no need to waste your time, and no need to interact with humans. Customers feel happy and satisfied as the process is easy and convenient.
Conclusion on behavioral economics. By definition, it's simply a quest to understand what really influences our decision in daily life. We have realized how irrational we are in our decision-making processes. Understanding irrationality is important for our actions, decisions, and choices. It differs from conventional economics that often answers irrationality based on market forces. It proves that irrational behavior are systematic and predictable. Behavioral economics somehow reminds us that life is complex with multiple forces simultaneously exerting their influences on us, and this complexity makes it difficult to figure out exactly how each of these forces shapes our behavior. The real promise of behavioral economics is to always acknowledge that one of the wonders of the universe is how complex, bizarre, and ever-changing human behavior is. Our summary on the four chosen behavioral economics concept. The first one looks at the truth about relativity. Humans rarely choose things in absolute terms. We don't have an internal value meter that tells us how much things are worth. Rather, we focus on the relative advantage of one thing over another and estimate value accordingly. Secondly, we look at the dishonesty. When given the opportunity, many honest people will cheat. People more often engage in a cost-benefit analysis with regard to honesty, and in the same way engage in a cost-benefit analysis to be dishonest. According to this perspective, individuals are honest only to the extent that suits them. When removed from any benchmarks of ethical thought, individuals tend to stray into dishonesty. But if reminded of morality at the moment of being tempted, then they are much more likely to be honest. Our takeout is on this: the best insurance policy for business is honesty. Also look at the problem of procrastination and self-control. This concept confirms that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Resisting temptation and instilling self-control are general human goals, and repeatedly failing to achieve them is a source of much of our misery. But each of the problems we face has potential self-control mechanisms. The influence of arousal confirms that every one of us, regardless of how good we are, predicts the effect of passion on our behavior.
We would like to intrigue you with one more concept that comes from the study of how human behavior affects economic decisions. What do products have in common? Google Home, Siri, and the useful car light on warning alarm. You'd be interested to know that they are all categorized as a red button. The big red button is a real, fictional, or figurative button that controls a function of critical importance, and that's usually big and red for quick identification. It is designed to either make users' lives easier or to deter harmful behavior in some manner. For example, a typical red button would be the warning alarm that your car lights are on. This alarm prevents many from returning from a pleasant outing to a car that refuses to start. I would definitely claim this as a product that makes life easier. This is our idea for a red button, a wearable medical alert device. This is a device that alerts you to the wearer's medical status and their physician contact details. It can monitor the wearer's blood pressure, use this information to gauge whether the person requires medical attention, and if so, send an alert to an emergency response team along with a GPS location. We believe that this solution will be perfect for all, but most especially for young children and elderly people who may not be in a position to alert strangers to their allergies, chronic conditions, or the important information that is needed in an emergency situation. It can be administered by medical practitioners, medical aides, and hospitals. By agreeing to wear the device, the wearer will have granted consent for their medical information to be accessed by medical personnel. Think about our company, All for One. Should our clients have these wearable medical devices, it will assist with speedier, more efficient medical assistance. It may also prevent home and car accidents, as those who are medically compromised can stay where they are and help will come to them. A win-win situation for all.